What do you think we're in store for? I think everybody really wants to know that answer.
Well, I think the short answer to that is that we are going to expect 3 threats from hurricanes as they come inland into this area. First of all, and most dangerous, is flooding. The second thing we expect will be tornadoes, and the third thing will be high wind. So we're under the gun for all of those. Let's check our maps and we'll give you some information. First of all, hurricane warning is up now from the National Hurricane Center, basically from about Cameron all the way over to the Alabama and Mississippi border, about right here. So this whole area, including the city of New Orleans and Lake Pontchartrain, is under a hurricane warning. That means hurricane conditions are expected within 24 hours. Now, let me zoom out a little and we're going to show you where the storm is, at least the best we can with the radar, because the storm's sort of avoiding radars right now. You can see the definite counterclockwise rotation, rain bands rotating across Florida. Also, just offshore, we see a little rain band there, which is moving through Boothville right there. That is the northwest edge of Hurricane Gustav. So that's the circulation that we're looking at. So many times when we can't see the storm well with radar, we look at our satellite pictures and then we can get a better vantage point because the satellite, of course, is 23,000 miles high and it gives us a much better view. So here's the hurricane in the satellite imagery. This is colored. This is enhanced colors. The red is the tall cloud tops. Remember, as the convection grows in a hurricane or any storm, it reaches great heights, 40, 50,000 feet or more. And so that is color-coded, and we have these colors here. And you can see a ball of convection associated with the hurricane. Certainly not as well organized as it was when it went across Cuba. There's the eye feature. It was briefly visible. Looks like about right in, we'll let it go through another loop. Right in there, a lot of convection on the west side of it, but it's still able to maintain Category 3 strength, so we're certainly still dealing with a formidable system here. Let's move over to our fast track system and show you what we have there. This is the expected track to the northwest, and then a little bit of a left turn, and that is what we're bringing into central Louisiana. For the New Orleans area, this is not a worst case scenario. For a worst case scenario, we would see this thing closer to New Orleans. Let's look at the first part of this jog. We can see, first of all, that we have, choose a color here, this is the path that we look for it to take right here. That's what that outline means. Here's the current storm path right here. It's going to be moving northwest. We're on a compass heading of about 325 degrees right now. Maximum sustained winds here are about 120. Now, as it gets up closer to the coast, we're looking at this Monday morning. That's about 7 a.m. Monday morning right here, this position. Okay, so you see it hasn't made landfall yet, but it will probably about midday. So let's go into that area and see what's going to happen there. So here it comes up into the coast. This is south of Morgan City. Here's New Orleans. It's better for New Orleans if this thing goes to the right of New Orleans or the east than it does to the left. But still, this is far enough away that we hope it will spare them the worst case scenario. We come back up into central Louisiana and we look at this position, and then as we go farther up into central Louisiana, we've got still a tropical storm, even as far inland as areas east of Fort Polk and Leesville. So on that track and that expected intensity, those 3 threats that I outlined, tornadoes, flooding, and high wind, will all be available to us to receive from this. How much wind? We think hurricane force gusts are certainly possible, especially south and east of Alexandria. We're looking at a good risk of tornadoes because much of the area will be near the center line and to the right of that. And as far as the speed of motion, we could see 10 to 15 inches of rain, perhaps even 20 inches of rain from this, which certainly will cause the smaller river systems to swell and flood, as well as any other flood-prone areas. So again, this is a threat. We've addressed these threats before. Now, let's take a look over at Viper 2. I've got a couple of things, just neat things to show you over there. First of all, this is how much heat is available to the tropical cyclone right here. You see this deep red, which is close to where it is now? That is the best heat energy in the Gulf of Mexico right now, and that is part of what we call the loop current, a warm eddy of water which is down in that area. You can see that the path takes it out of that loop current, which is good news because that should weaken the storm just a bit as it does not have much energy available to it. Now, another important thing from a forecasting standpoint that we look at as far as in addition to the oceanic heat content, how much energy is available to the tropical system, we also look at the shear which is available to it. And so we superimposed a shear on this, and we look right here, we've got 30 knots of shear as it approaches the Gulf Coast. So we are optimistic that we are going to see a system which is going to decrease a bit in strength. And one thing that we have found is that the large hurricanes, and this one's a little bit larger than normal and will be when it approaches the coast, they tend to react to that a little bit more than the smaller storms. And so we're optimistic that at least it will weaken just a bit. And just to be on the safe side, Michelle, this is totally off the wall. I didn't plan to say this, but you know, right now there are people in churches across Louisiana and they're praying. And we were through this when Hurricane Lily, and it dropped 2 categories as it approached the coast.
All right, Tom, good words, and certainly on a Sunday morning, words we're all open to hear about. Now, and thank you, Tom, and again, we'll have updates at the top of every hour.